Hello friends and welcome to yet another video on Chandoo.org. In this video, we are going to look at 10 formulas that you can use as an IT person. Now, if you are working in IT, then chances are your usage of Excel is fairly different from how a finance or accounting or analytics person would use. I have had the fortune of working in IT industry for more than almost 18 years now, and this video shares some of the best examples of Excel formulas that you could use as an IT person. If you think I have missed out on any of the functions or formulas that you use an IT person, please leave them in the comments video so that I can create another video covering those missed out ones. Okay, let's get into the top 10 formulas for IT people now. So in this video, we will look at these 10 examples. Unlike normal Excel functions, I'm not going to talk about individual functions per se. Instead, these are 10 examples of practical situations where you may have to use Excel to solve the problem. So each one involves usage of one or two different Excel functions. So the first one is count between dates. Let us say you are looking at some test cases done by day or amount of work done by day or whatever, and you just want to count how much activity is completed between a set of two dates. Now you could use this for either project management analysis area of the work, or it could be part of something else as well. But in general, the idea is you want to count between two sets of two dates and just see. The key area is to use the SUMIFS function. What this does is it can sum of the data based on two date conditions. So I have put a sample formula here. If you want to see the actual data rather than the sum of number of test cases or whatever, you could also use the filter function. Here is an example. So we have some test cases done on each day of the month of May 2020. And I want to see how many cases are completed between 7 May and 16 May 2020. To do this, all we have to do is SUMIFS testing table test cases done. Testing date is greater than or equal to ampersand J4. So what we are doing here is we are saying the test date has to be on or after the starting date. So that's how you specify that condition, and then it is on or before the end date, and this will give you that. And because it is a dynamic function, I can change this. So I could say 10 May 2020, and that will give me a different answer. So we have completed 111 cases in the 7 days from 10 May to 16 May. Right. The next one is looking up matching items. Again, this is fairly popular, and chances are if you have already been using Excel for a while, you already know the basics. So imagine we want to know how many cases have been completed in a specific day. You could use either VLOOKUP or XLOOKUP function. I say go with XLOOKUP, especially if you have Excel 365 and you can use XLOOKUP because it creates a shorter formula. I have a detailed video on XLOOKUP which you can access in the cards area up there if you want to learn more about XLOOKUP. So the formula syntax looks like this. You want to look up some item in the lookup data and return this corresponding items. So that's how it looks. You could also use VLOOKUP. It will be slightly longer syntax and it may not work for all types of data, but these two are the popular formulas. So let's go here and then see the number of cases completed on 18 May 2020. To see this, you could use XLOOKUP like this, XLOOKUP of that date in the testing date column and return the test cases done column if it finds a match. So it will give you 12. Whereas a VLOOKUP version of the same formula would be VLOOKUP of that date in the testing table and get the corresponding value from second column. Second column will be the number of cases. And we want to make an exact lookup, so that means this parameter needs to be false. Because VLOOKUP has a longer syntax and it if you forget false, it will give you incorrect result. For that reason, I recommend going with XLOOKUP formula. So the next one is gap between two dates. Again, one of the critical things when you are working in IT situations is you always have to deal with some sort of dates. And imagine you are a project lead or a project manager or a business analyst, and you just want to calculate the duration for a module development or something like that. So you know the start date and end date, and you want to calculate gap between the dates. The simplest thing to do is a date 2 minus date 1. This will give you the gap. I'll show you some examples here. Imagine we have module 1 dates as start date as 19th of Jan 2020 and end date as 16th of July 2020. Okay, the duration in number of days would be 179 because this minus that will give you that number. Although dates may appear like a different thing, dates are technically numbers in Excel, so you can just subtract, add or whatever to them to get a new date. So for example, if I want to know what is 30 days after 19 Jan 20, I just have to add plus 30 to it to get the new date. If I want to calculate duration in weeks, I can use the difference and divide that with 7 because each week is 7 days. But it gets a little more complicated if you want to calculate the duration in number of months. There are two ways to do it. One simple way is take that number and divide that with 30 or something like that to get the number of months. Another option is you can also see how many calendar months are in between. If you want to go that route, you can use the date diff function. This is not a documented function in Excel. By that what I mean is if you type for example any function in Excel like VLOOKUP, it will show you the syntax. But if you try to type date diff, first of all it doesn't give you auto suggest, and as you open bracket it simply just says you can close it, but it doesn't tell you what goes where. But what date diff does is you can give two dates, start date and end date, and within double quotes if you say M, it'll give you the duration in months. Okay, you can also use this for years to see how many years it takes to complete an activity. Obviously in this case it will be 0 years, but if I change this to 2021, it will be 17 months or 1 year to complete that particular activity. The next one is duration, but this time in working days. Okay, let's say you are doing some project planning and you want to see how much productivity can be there in that start date and end date. It's not 179 days, it is actually maybe less, like 120 working days, and you want to see how many working days that is, and then maybe multiply that with 8 hours to get it in hours, or multiply that with team size to get the FTE. So to do that you can use the net work days function. What net work days does is it takes a start date and end date and it will tell you how many working days are there. I'm here referring to the same start date and end date as our previous example. Okay, so it will tell me that there is 390 work days. You could also tweak this formula to solve different problems. For example, imagine your weekend is not Saturday and Sunday, but it is Friday and Saturday, or Sunday and Monday for some regulatory purposes. You could use the networkdays.intl function and then provide a parameter that is equal to your weekend. So in this case, if your weekend happens to be Friday, Saturday, then you need to give 7. If you have a 1-day weekend, chances are you are probably working in some sort of an operational support or something like that, in which case you could use one of those other options. Now let's get a little bit modern. These days many organizations are thinking of 4-day work week. So let's just say you want to calculate how many working days will be there if you are working only on your work week is only Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, Saturday, Sunday are considered as weekend or non-productive days. In such case, you could use networkdays.intl and you just simply have to specify the pattern as per your work week. So 0 means working day and 1 is weekend, and it starts with Monday. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday 0 0 0 0, and then 1 1 1 corresponds to Friday, Saturday, Sunday as weekend, and in that case you have 312 working days. Okay, so that is where that work days function comes in. The next formula is calculating nth smallest or largest item. Okay, if you want just the smallest item or largest item, you could use the min or max formulas. But if you want the nth smallest item, it could be third smallest item, fourth largest item or something, you could use the small or large functions. These are fairly simple to remember and they will help you solve these kind of problems. So here is an example. If I want to see how many what was the least cases done on any day across our test cases data, then I can just use the minimum formula, minimum of testing test cases done, and that will give me answer as 1. But if I want to see what is the second least cases in any day, then I can use the small formula, small test cases done, comma 2, and that will give me the second small. So 2 is for second, you can change this to 3, 4, 5 like that. In case there are ties, it will be like, let's say there are 2 days with now 2 cases done, then second rank will be 2, third rank will also be 2. Okay, third highest cases in a day is just large formula with the number 3. Now this is all good, but you might be thinking, hey Chandu, while I appreciate this, I want to know which day it is that we did only 1 case or 2 cases. You can use that number in conjunction with XLOOKUP to find out what was the corresponding day. So here is that formula. You could say XLOOKUP that particular number of cases in the test cases done column and then return the testing date column, and that will give you the corresponding date as well, which you can use then to find out why so many cases were done or why so few cases were completed. So that is the 5th one. The 6th one is moving averages. Again, this is something that you cannot directly use the simple formulas. Let us say, given the test cases that are completed, you want to see what is the moving average of 7 days. On average, within a week, how many cases we are completing. You could use average function with relative references. Okay, that's the key bit. If you just use references as absolute, then you will not be able to get the moving average. But with the relative referencing, you are able to get it. So here is that example. We start with the 7th of May because first 6 days we don't have any prior data, so the moving average will be incorrect. And we simply say average of D5 to D11. Let's go and see what that range really is. So here we are starting from D5 and then we calculate the first week average as that. And because we are using relative reference, when I go to the next cell, it will automatically adjust the reference from D6 to D12. Okay, notice the addresses here, 6 and 12. So this way I will get a 7-day window that is always moving down or up depending on where the formula is, and I can use that to calculate my moving averages. You can put the moving average elsewhere like I've shown, or you can add a column here and put the values there as well. Both approaches will work beautifully. The next examples are on working with text. So you want to extract portions of text either for getting parts of the data or doing some data cleanup or whatever. If it is a one-time activity, you could use either flash fill or some other things in Excel to solve that. But if you want to do it on an ongoing basis, then you can apply the formulas left, right, and mid in conjunction with other formulas like find or search or substitute to get what you want. So let us see here what we mean by that. So imagine you have some email addresses in cells and you want to just extract the first name, because it's first name dot last name @domain, and you want to extract first name, last name, and domain. You could use the left, right, and mid functions. They alone are not sufficient. You have to combine them with other formulas. First, let's just see the demo of left function alone. If I want to get the left 4 characters, I can use a left cell address and comma 4. That'll give me the first 4 letters. I can change the number 4 to 3 or 2 and I'll get the first 2 letters or 3 letters. Okay, so that is left function. You can also try the right function and this will give you the rightmost 2 letters. All right, but what if I want to get all the letters from left up to the dot, because that's the first name? To do that, what you need to be doing is, along with the left formula, the number 4 needs to be changed to the position of the dot. Okay, so this can be done with the find formula. What find formula does is it finds the position of any text in another text. So I can say find the dot within the email address, and this will give you the position of dot, in which case it will be 4 was j.sync. So dot appears as the fourth character. So if I use this in conjunction with my left formula, I'll get first 4 letters because this is 4. If I just want the 3 letters because I don't want the dot, I just have to subtract 1 from it. So that is how the first name formula is done. We just say left of this, find a dot and then subtract 1. That will give me the name, and then we proper case it so that the first letter is capitalized to see John. To do the last name, it is actually same idea as earlier, but now we need to find 2 things, dot and @ symbol, and extract the portion in between. So when I'm getting text from left, I use the left formula. When I'm getting text from right, I use the right formula. But when I'm getting text in the middle, I'm using the mid formula. So here the last name function uses the mid function to find the middle part of the text by first finding the dot and then going 1 extra letter because we want to start after dot, and then finding the difference between @ symbol and dot symbol and using that as the number of characters to extract. It might seem very long, but it is a fairly straightforward formula once you understand. We could use the same idea to extract a domain, which will be right characters from right until the @ symbol is found. The next one is how to combine text values. This is very useful, especially if you are constructing something in Excel and you want to take it elsewhere, like a bunch of email addresses combined into one piece of text, or a bunch of values combined into an SQL statement or something like that. So you could use the beautiful text join function to learn this. I have got a detailed video on text join. Just click on the cards to see that video if you want to learn more. But let's get into the example here. So to combine all these email addresses into one piece of text, we can use text join like this. Text join separator is comma space, and then we'll just leave the next parameter as true or false. It doesn't really matter. That will be useful for some advanced scenarios with text join, and a range of cells. So this will give you all the values, but also include an extra comma separator. You can use this for pasting these email addresses into an Outlook field, or just sending an email through an automation software or something like that with the separator that you want to use. So that is that. The next one is to make random data in Excel. Again, this is very, very useful if you want to just make up some dummy data fairly quickly or use it to simulate something else. You could use the functions rand between and rand array along with the Excel's own rand function to generate random data. I've got a blank canvas for us to make some random data. If I just want to get a random number between 1 to 10, I can use rand between and then 1 and 10. This number will be something, but if I go and recalculate just using the formulas calculate now button, I will get a different answer. Now let us say I want to get 10 numbers that are between 1 and 100. I can use the newly introduced rand array function and then say I want 10 numbers. So 10 rows, each number goes into one row. I don't need them in any columns, and the minimum needs to be 1, maximum needs to be 100. This will give you 10 numbers, but it will also have fractional part. If you don't like fractions, you can just say the last parameter will be true, which means they need to be integers, and you will get complete digits. So this is how you can make the random numbers. You can take this idea and extend it further to make random phone numbers, random zip codes, random dates, whatever, because most of them, while you might think they're different, they're all numbers. For example, to make 10 random phone numbers, we could use rand array, okay, 10, and then the minimum is, because usually it all depends on how the phone numbers are formatted for which country, but they tend to be 10 digit long. So we can say 111 111 1111 and then 999 999 9999 and then true. This will give you 10 phone numbers. Okay, if you can format, you want to format them, you can apply number formatting to make them look like phone numbers. Same goes for zip codes or dates. To make a date, you just select any number between let's say you want to make random dates between the year in the year 2020. All you have to do is you can just say rand array 10 and then minimum is 1 Jan 2020 and then maximum is 31 December 2020. If you put them in double quotes, Excel will understand them as dates and it will make the numbers. Although they look like numbers, once you have the numbers, you can apply date formatting to see random dates. And if you recalculate, you will get fresh set of random dates. Everything is numbers here, but if you want, you can extend this idea to create random text as well. I got another video that you can watch in the cards that will show you how to make random text sentences from Excel. Okay, all of these are good, but this is even more important. How do you avoid any errors? So this is where the next formula comes up, which is you can use Excel's error handling functions to avoid errors. There are multiple functions in Excel. You can use the if error function. You can also use function's own options to avoid errors. So let's just say I want to look how many cases have been completed on 18th of June 2020. Now we don't have data for that, so our VLOOKUP formula will automatically come back as #NA, meaning I couldn't find what you're looking for. But you can simply use if error function in the front and then give an or alternative value when there is an error. For example, no data, and that will be the option. With functions like XLOOKUP, there is actually an if not found option that you could use. For example, you don't need to write if error anymore. You can just say XLOOKUP this, if not found, no data, and that will also come up as no data. So the formulas that you want to remember are if error and is error, but there is also special formulas like if NA that will only handle the NA errors, that means the lookup related errors alone. So that is in conclusion the top 10 formulas for handling errors in Excel. I hope you enjoyed this video. Feel free to leave a comment suggesting any other things that you may want me to cover, and I'm happy to talk about those items as well. If you are facing any special Excel related problems in your IT work, again post them in the comment section so that I can share some solutions or ideas on them. Thank you so much for watching. Talk to you again in another video. Bye bye.